Well, then it wouldn't be a secret. So yeah, that would be okay.
McD's may want you to be loving it, but there are some questions surrounding the franchise's success. These are 10 hidden secrets McDonald's doesn't want you to know about.
It's a secret.
McD's large portion sizes, supersized.
Look how big that French fry is.
Would you like to supersize that order? McDonald's came under fire back in the early 2000s for their absolutely unreasonable portion sizes, especially when it came to their option to get your meal supersized. This would mean that you would not only be getting a burger with your meal, but you'd also be getting a side of French fries that came in a cup comparable to a bucket, as well as a fountain pop in a cup that puts McDonald's modern-day large cups to shame. You may even be familiar with this complaint if you've ever watched the documentary Supersize Me, which was obviously named after McDonald's large portions. This movie followed one man as his health declined, eating nothing but McDonald's for a month. And although Supersize Me has come under its own criticisms in recent years, that doesn't take away the fact that it caused plenty of problems for McDonald's at the time. McDonald's stopped offering their customers the option to supersize their meals back in 2004, although they denied that this decision had anything to do with the criticism. Instead, they claimed that the reason had more to do with the fact that people just weren't choosing the supersize option all that much, plus it just tended to slow employees down when they had to dish out fries in such large portions. It's difficult to say what the real reason was, but regardless, McDonald's still tends to offer their customers more calories in one meal than they'd ever need in a single sitting, supersize or not.
We're supersizing everything.
How does McDonald's stay ahead of the competition?
This is gonna be the easiest money I've ever made.
McDonald's has been the world's largest fast food chain for some time now. Well, as it turns out, that may not be the case for too much longer. As many continue to be inspired by the success of franchises like McDonald's, there are more and more fast food chains popping up every day, and not all of those restaurants are offering burgers and fries. Over the years, McD's has seen options like Pizza Hut show up offering pizza, or you can pop by a Subway to grab subs, or any number of the different food varieties that are out there.
No, but he's not. You are.
McDonald's doesn't necessarily want you to think about the amount of options you have at this point, and they've more recently been seeing competition show up from fast food chains that offer their customers healthier options. To keep ahead of the curve, McDonald's will often strike back by advertising something that they offer that nobody else does, like the Happy Meal and the toys that are connected to your favorite franchise that you just have to have, and then go back to collect the whole set. Some of their collectibles can even be limited edition or exclusive to McDonald's, meaning that you will not be able to get them any other way than by eating at McDonald's. Tactics like that are how McDonald's have managed to stay ahead of the game all these years. McDonald's and its environmental impact.
A person has already been born who will die due to catastrophic failure of the planet.
This is sort of a twofold problem. On one hand, McDonald's is responsible for clearing a lot of land in the Amazon rainforest, which provides shelter for a number of unique creatures and wildlife, as well as helping to regulate the global climate. McDonald's will mostly use this land to raise cattle on, and cattle produce plenty of methane gas simply by existing. Methane gas is considered among those pesky greenhouse gases. And so the amount of cattle that McDonald's needs to raise on land that used to provide us with plenty of clean oxygen instead is becoming a bit of a problem. Another huge concern when it comes to McDonald's relationship with the environment simply comes down to packaging waste. Think of how much of your food comes wrapped up in either paper or plastic, and a lot of the time that garbage winds up becoming litter in the street or buried in a landfill. It's very important to remember to recycle your McDonald's waste whenever possible. First time here? Well, our channel's like a drive-thru on your screen, so hit that subscribe button and enjoy the ride.
Roll out!
McDonald's and high-fructose corn syrup.
No, that is not corn syrup. That is...
High-fructose corn syrup isn't necessarily one of those things you want to get a whole lot of in your diet. It just adds way too much fructose into your diet, and high amounts of fructose have been linked to issues such as liver disease, obesity, and diabetes. At the end of the day, high-fructose corn syrup is just empty calories that your body doesn't need.
I mean, not at all what I was expecting.
And yet, despite that, McDonald's has a tendency to slip it into a surprising amount of their food. You can find it in their Big Macs, you can find it in their ketchup. But the good news? As of 2016, McDonald's no longer puts high-fructose corn syrup in their buns. Isn't that a win? Of course. But what about all of the other products that they're still putting it in, even if they know that it isn't good for their customers? McD's just doesn't seem to care all that much about the health of their customers when it comes to high-fructose corn syrup. Some artificial ingredients still in products.
Would you like the secret recipe?
Back in 2018, McDonald's announced that they would no longer be adding any artificial ingredients to 7 of their classic burgers. But wait, what artificial ingredients were they adding before? Well, a whole bunch, as it turns out. McDonald's buns would often be made with calcium propionate to prevent them from growing mold, for instance, although this was eventually discovered to have negative effects on child behavior. Meanwhile, the Big Mac sauce used to contain sodium benzoate, which was meant to prevent the growth of fungi and bacteria, and yet has been linked to certain types of cancers. The good news is that, as of 2018, this shouldn't be something that you have to worry about anymore when it comes to most of their products. The one exception? The pickles. McDonald's pickles continue to contain an artificial preservative, and so you may just want to skip getting pickles on your sandwich the next time that you go to McDonald's. McDonald's accused of targeting its advertising to kids.
Perfect party games.
This one has gotten McDonald's into some hot water a few times. McDonald's has been accused of marketing directly to children with their bright and colorful Happy Meals and line of toys that are often connected to movies or some other big franchise, and thus leave you feeling like you need to collect the whole lot. This might be okay if the product that they were selling was actually good for children, but the truth is, McDonald's menu items have been connected to many juvenile health concerns and puts children at a greater risk for things like obesity and diabetes.
And the weenies. Now they're sitting on a plate all cold and shriveled just like my heart.
The fast food chain has been accused of not really doing enough to stop all of this either, outside of throwing the occasional healthier food option on the menu like apple slices or a yogurt tube. McD's is still using colorful packaging and cartoon characters to keep kids wanting that tasty treat, even if the chain knows it isn't all that nutritious for them. Not only that, but McDonald's has been accused of investing way more money to market themselves in lower middle-income countries, like Egypt and India, specifically targeting the youth demographic there. This especially becomes a problem when you consider how rampant malnutrition is in some of these countries. And McDonald's is not exactly the kind of miracle fix that it seems to be claiming itself to be. Safety and treatment of employees.
It's serious down there. We do dangerous stuff.
McDonald's has been accused of mistreating their employees in more ways than one. From the long hours to the low pay wage, the reasons truly do seem endless. Add on to that the fact that you're dealing with hungry customers all day, and we can definitely see how this might not be the most enjoyable of working places, even on the best of days. And then there's all the times that McDonald's has been accused of demanding above and beyond with their employees. McD's also made headlines for an event that happened all the way back in 2004 when a man identifying himself as a police officer on the phone managed to talk a McDonald's manager into performing a strip search on a young female employee. While McDonald's was not directly responsible for this incident, many were quick to criticize the fast food chain for their lack of action before and after the fact. And they were ordered to pay $2.4 million in legal fees for the abuse she had suffered. And as if that weren't bad enough, McDonald's has also been criticized for the way that they failed to protect their employees from actual physical harm. Like in one case from 2019 when a 16-year-old McDonald's employee wound up getting hot coffee thrown into her face after getting into an argument with a customer in the drive-thru. Does McD's use antibiotics in its chicken products?
I think I'll take 2 chickens.
McDonald's has recently come under fire for using antibiotics in its chicken products, something that's a rather common practice within factory farming. Antibiotics have historically been used as a means to prevent disease outbreaks among livestock. They may also come with the added bonus of speeding up the chicken's growth, which means that it will be ready for sale sooner than your average chicken. The big problem with this is that meat that's been treated with antibiotics can still be laced with superbugs, which are bacteria that are even resistant to the effects of antibiotics. It's been estimated that around 23,000 Americans die every year as a result of these antibiotic-resistant diseases.
Yeah, I do, man.
or else I die.
Now, with that being said, the fast food chain has been publicly trying to distance themselves from their use of antibiotics in recent years. They no longer allow the use of certain antibiotics in any chickens being raised for consumption in the United States, although they will still use antibiotics meant only for animals. If any chicken gets sick, then it will receive treatment before being removed from the line for American consumption, although chickens that have been treated may still be sold to restaurants outside of the U.S. McDonald's promised to eliminate their use of antibiotics in Europe, Russia, and Australia in 2019, although other markets may continue to see this meat on their menus until 2027. McD's accused of controlling the price of its suppliers' products.
At the end of the week, my brokerage account contained over $2 million.
McDonald's has a pretty unique way of going about their business. Rather than hunting around to try and find the cheapest supplier, McDonald's prefers to build relationships with their suppliers so that they can continue working with them for several years. But what exactly is the benefit of them doing business this way? Well, this allows McDonald's to work out their prices with each individual vendor. They revise these price models often, always with the goal of working out the lowest possible price that McDonald's has to pay without affecting the cost for their customers. As you may have imagined, this can sometimes wind up becoming a bit of a headache for suppliers, and at times has even led to them cutting corners in some of the worst ways possible. For example, McDonald's supplier JBS was caught accepting beef from illegal farms in Brazil back in 2019, although it's difficult to say how much of that meat actually wound up in McDonald's restaurants. Still, it may not be the most comforting knowing that the guy supplying your meat is trying to do it as cheaply as they possibly can. McDonald's has faced criticism for its use of palm oil.
There are humans in my forest, and I don't know what to do. They're burning it for palm oil.
Do you know what kind of oil McDonald's uses to fry their french fries in many countries around the world? Fun fact, McDonald's is actually one of the world's top 10 users of palm oil, something that the fast food chain claims to use because it's a healthier alternative than most other oils. But that being said, it may not be all that healthy for our environment. In fact, the production of palm oil has been linked to deforestation in the wet tropics. Palm oil has been used in everything from ice cream to shampoo, and so our dependence on palm oil has really become a bit of a problem in recent years.
Nor every question answered.
But the good news is that's not the case in North America and Europe, where McD's fries their food in vegetable oil. While vegetable oil is commonly found in most fast food kitchens, Five Guys famously fry their food in peanut oil, both of which are options that are just slightly better for the environment than palm oil. And while the health benefits of peanut oil are a little bit more complicated to get into, vegetable oil is also a much more healthy alternative to palm oil. In fact, palm oil is actually quite high in saturated fats, which has been linked to higher risks of things like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. But again, McDonald's doesn't want you to find that out.
What I told you, you must keep it a secret.
Tune in to more great videos. Just tap or click. First time here? Then leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell.